basketball. That was a song with Little Bow Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Gaia.
I don't know.
Go lay down now. Lord have mercy. No. This cat is unleashed. Oh, Lord have mercy. Don't have kids. If you do.
That is funny.
Find the comedy in it. Find the comedy in it. Good Lord.
Our faces.
Like,
I can't wait to see my faces. Oh.
Oh my goodness. I'm Tia.
Toya.
No, we're gonna do that again. I'm Tia.
Toya.
Get away from me. Third time's a charm. I'm Tia.
Toya.
You ass.
I put a little more on it though.
Toya.
Oh shit.
We ain't even started the episode yet.
I tried.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh snap.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to Cousins Unleashed. I was going to introduce myself again.
I'm done.
Oh,
She's
okay.
everywhere.
Professional. This week, we're discussing.
Periods.
If you couldn't hear her, she said period. And not the punctuation.
Right. Period.
That's also a conversation, too. Cultural slang.
Man.
Cultural popularity.
Man.
Cultural, what is it? Verbiage? I don't know why I did my face like that.
Right.
Cultural verbiage. Mm-hmm. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about menstruation cycles. Menstruation? Yeah, menstrual cycles. Menstruation. It works either way. Either way, the red stuff that comes from betwixt your legs. I do want to. Okay, so apparently, and I don't know if my research is up to date. I need to check again. It depends on the girl's mother. How long their mother had their period will determine how long she has her period.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know about that though. Then again, that will suck. Because as far as I know, my mom's in her 50s and she's still wavering in premenopause.
Okay. Well, Auntie Rita, she still had her cycle all the way into her 60s.
Oh Lord, what the hell? No, because I was thinking about this. I was like, I've been having mine. I started getting my period when I was 8 years old. So I've been having this mofo for at least 24 years. Are you telling me I gotta go at least into my 60s? It's another 28 years.
I'm over exaggerating, but yeah, definitely like in her 50s.
Very,
I know when
very
I was
late.
With Markel, she was still on her cycle.
Very, very late, and I feel like
and
that.
I think she's like second to the oldest, right?
Goodness
something
gracious.
like that. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if my grandma still has hers. I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Then again, homegirl takes a lot of medication, though. I was also thinking, I was like, I've never done hard drugs. So I wonder if doing hard drugs like methamphetamine, cocaine, stuff like that for long periods of time will mess with your cycle. Like make it irregular or stop it or make you bleed more. I don't know. I need to find somebody that does or did drugs.
Acts as a blood thinner too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, make you bleed more or have lighter
Yeah.
periods or heavier periods. And then if you do end up going into recovery, does that get re-regulated, or would that like require like constant checkups at the gyno? She said, "I'm gonna look it up."
If you,
Oh,
oh
I thought you
no,
were gonna look it up.
girl.
She's getting lip gloss on. And I'm like,
Girl, if somebody is on drugs, I don't think they getting regular checkups.
you said what?
If they doing that drug, they is not getting regular checkups.
Well, I know.
They
Well, I'm
ain't
saying
good.
when they if they do go into recovery, if they go into recovery. So I'm like, I don't know. That was a question in my mind. And now that it's recorded, now I have
I'm gonna
it
look it up
written
later.
down. I'm like, excuse me, Dr. Google. Periods. What are
Not the what are they?
they?
Hey,
The education system in this country needs to be better. Okay. Because a lot, I kid you not. I mean, I remember I told you, I was like, even a lot of my female patients don't know that a C section is a surgery.
yeah.
It's a major surgery.
No, for real.
It's the most major surgery.
What makes them think that's not?
Girl, the education system.
Yeah.
Because I'll be sitting there taking their history, and I'll be like, okay, any previous surgeries? I'm like, any well, I'll phrase it as like any previous surgeries, any like tonsils, appendix, wisdom teeth. They're like, no. And I'm like, all right, cool. These little children here, are they natural? Say, what do you mean? Did they come from your vagina? Oh, no, they're C-section. That's a major surgery. They're like, really? And I'm like, it's the most major surgery.
No, for real, they tear all the way through your
I
tissue.
literally, okay, so I looked it up. That one I did look up. They tear 6 layers of tissue.
Yeah, they go all the way in.
And I was like, they have to tear through every single layer of tissue that you have and then remove a human being from your body like an alien movie. And then sew all of that up again.
No, for real, layer by layer.
And they were like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't think that was a major.
I don't know why you not think, even if you didn't read it, like it's common sense.
But it's not.
It's common sense ain't common sense either.
But common sense ain't common no more.
It's not.
It's just sense wandering around. Just wandering,
Oh,
waiting
yeah,
for
that
somebody to
is-
grab a hold. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And you got 5 of them? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's true. Look, if I run into patients that are like that like was hit too hard with a stupid stick, and they have multiple kids, I'll be like, you need to find a different hobby outside of the bedroom.
No, for real.
Preferably away from your man. Okay? Because what? Yeah. Make it make sense. It don't. I'll tell you right now. It don't. I'm
dead.
And I'm like, I'll tell you right now. It don't. I'm excited. I don't know. I'm excited to tell Guy about like what the period what the period does. It gives you a sigh of relief knowing that you ain't pregnant.
Man. Not everything.
Whew. Thank you for looking out for me.
Oh.
I'm gonna start listening to you now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm excited to explain to her like all the different changes that her body is gonna go through. If she started as young as me, I only got about 3-4 more years. I know, it's crazy close. She's like, dang, oh my gosh.
No, for real, Ariel 10, I'm still waiting. I got her, I packed her up a little period pouch. And
Just
I
in case
made,
it happens,
yeah,
so
and I
when you're
said,
not
keep
gone.
this in your bag, Ashley, just in case. So she got a little extra pair of underwear in her bag and stuff, little wipes, just in case, she already said. Making sure that I put it on. I had her practice, like,
How
go
old were
get
you
you
when you got your
ready.
period?
Honestly, I don't even remember. But you know how my childhood was. So
There was a
I
lot
don't.
going
It
on.
was a lot.
There was
Because
a
I be
lot
thinking
going
about that
on.
here and there, like, when did I actually start? I remember at this age I was on it, but I don't remember when I
When it
actually started.
started.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I remember mine. It was so traumatic. Now it's hilarious. But at the time, traumatic as hell. Because it was like my mom and all five of us at my grandma's house in California for the summer. And I was sharing a bed with either one of two of my sisters or whoever. I woke up and like my whole side of the bed was just
Oh
like a
yeah, I
murder
remember you
scene.
told me, right?
And I was like, oh my god, I'm dying. What's happening? And I freaking like went to the bathroom and all that stuff. Mind you, these are reasons, not necessarily reasons why I don't talk to my mom, but I think back to these times where there were these opportunities for my mom to step up and be a mom, and she didn't take it because homegirl just stayed in bed. Because Felicia actually ended up having her period before all of us, so she was like, "Oh well, Felicia, just go ahead and show her what you're supposed to do." And I was like, "Okay." And you know she ain't got no patience. She ain't got patience to save her life, literally.
No, for real.
So I'm like sitting there on the toilet, and she's like, "Just do this and put it in." And I'm like asking like. Now I feel like it was a dumb question, but it was a very valid question for an 8-year-old to ask when you think that you're being murdered from your vagina. I was like, okay, do I just stay on the toilet all day? She's like, what? No. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, no one. And so, but now that I'm like an adult, I'm like, wow, like, I was very uneducated in how my body was supposed to operate. So that's why I'm really happy that I would be able to properly educate my daughter on the things that she's gonna go through as being a female, as being a woman, as being a girl, whatever you want to freaking call it, whatever society calls it nowadays. I'll just call her my tiny person. But I'm like, I'm excited to be able to teach her that the things that I didn't get taught, and I had to intentionally, maybe when I was 13, 12 or 13, intentionally get a permission slip to sign up for health class. That should not be by permission. That should be a requirement. Because then you got freaking 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old kids having sex, having babies, and all of this stuff, and not necessarily ruining their life, but definitely hindering it from the best opportunities that they could have if they were just properly educated. I'm like, that'll be a whole different episode. The education system in this country is just.
I think we did.
We gonna pray for them. We gonna pray for them. Like, you have to ask permission to get educated on what your body's going to naturally do as you age. Hey, you're probably feeling that way because your hormones are all jacked up and out of whack. And I'm like, hey, you're probably feeling that way because, you know, this is the first time that you're feeling like this. So, of course, you don't know how to respond to that. But let me show you what not to do. You don't go and do things that you're not supposed to do. I'm just leaving it at that. You don't go and do things that you're not supposed to do.
Because now it's the consequences stage.
Because now I have to sit here and we have to figure out how to deal with the consequences of your actions. But that's because you were misinformed. And I'm like, so many kids are misinformed or not even informed. I'm like, we're going to pray for them. I know. Periods are fun though. Oh no. I'm like, for the longest time though, and I think that was nothing but the Lord. Like my first marriage, we were married for 2 years, and for a good part of like a year, maybe even into a year and a half, I had a period almost like at least every day, at least every other day to almost every single day. Yeah, but I was ill educated. I didn't know like, hey, this isn't normal because in our immediate family, iron deficient anemic having abnormal periods was normal. But it's like also what was traumatic and jacked up your hormones. Because trauma actually can change your DNA and the way that you think. So I'm like, what was messing up my hormones to make me end up having a period? But I didn't know any better. To go to the gynecologist to get that taken care of so that you can have a normal period. I'm not saying I'm mad at my mom. I'm just saying she could have did a better job.
Right.
But now that you know better, you do better so that you are better. That's what I tell Guy all the time. But I made her cry one time, and I was just like, "Be better." She's just like, I was like, "No, no, no," because you know better, right? She's like, "Yes." I said, "So you do better, right?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "So that you are better, right?" She's like, "Yeah." Okay, so be better. Let's get the middle part. Be better. And she's still learning that. We're all still learning. Shoot, you already told you about color theory and me. We're all still learning.
No, for real.
But if you try to stop learning, I always feel like if you stop learning, then you die. Like mentally, cognitively,
Okay.
and then the relationships around you start to die when you stop learning about the people that you care about.
Mm-hmm.
Like you stop learning about how to interact with people properly, how to show respect, how to also have boundaries and stuff like that. If you stop learning, then you die.
Well, I get it. Yeah.
And like and then things start to die around you. Then don't nobody want to be around you.
Oh, everything.
See, so look. It's crazy to say it that way, but when you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, yeah, kind of. Then one of my patients, she was like doing like bench presses, 10-pound dumbbells. I'm like, girl, you don't suck it up. She said, this is so hard. I was like, well, like a tree, if you stop growing, then you die. She's like, huh? I was like, if a tree's roots stop growing down into the dirt and looking for water sources, then it will die. If it stops growing up to the sun, then it will die. And then things just start falling off. I was like, if you stop growing, then you die. So there's no other choice for you to do but to just keep growing. You don't have to be good at it the first time. That's where so many people get discouraged. And I'm like, but keep growing to it. I've started to say practice doesn't make perfect. Practice just makes progress.
Definitely.
That's all we can do is be progressive people and learn more about your body. It wasn't until I was pregnant with this little fool that I found out that I had a fibroid on my uterus.
Oh, wow.
The freaking first doctor who like did my whole checkup and stuff when I was pregnant, she's like, "Oh, you're about 14 weeks pregnant." I was like, "All right, cool." Mind you, I'm finding out after 3 months of pregnancy. Like, didn't have a period. I'm like, oh, well, because I was used to being abnormal. I was normally abnormal, and I was like, oh no, it's probably just stress. Blah 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 blah. Nah, it was a baby. It was a whole human being growing in my uterus. But she was like, oh, you're about 14 weeks. And then the actual doctor that I had, that I absolutely loved, Dr. Berger, that was his last name. You
She
know
was
why
like,
I
it's
chose
fate.
him. Yep.
Right.
I said, I want that one right there. But he was like, no, you're 12. He's like, either you are 14 weeks pregnant or you're 12 weeks pregnant with a fibroid on your uterus. Homegirl had a whole ultrasound machine and did an
She didn't
ultrasound
see.
and didn't look up there.
Mm-mm.
All he did was palpate. There it is. All he did was palpate and was like, yeah, you have a fibroid on your uterus. I was like, good to know, doc. What do we do about that? Is that surgical or something? He's like, no, it's fine. I freaking loved him so much.
I'm just letting you be a weirdo, but it's fine.
I freaking love him so much. And then I literally just recently went to the doctor and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, my OB when I was pregnant said that I have a fibroid in my uterus. I was like, did that do anything for you, doc? And she was like, no, as long as you still have like regular periods and there's no like different difference in all of that stuff, then you're fine. I was like, so women just be out here with fibroiding,
No, don't be no.
and probably don't know or just won't ever get surgery because hey, if it's not messing with anything,
What's the point?
yeah. And apparently, Moraine is good for 8 years now.
Hmm.
Yeah, found that out too.
I'm done.
And I'm like, but I honestly though, I would not be able to imagine my life as a man. Even though like those like freaking Facebook things, like if you woke up as a man one day, what would you do? Pray to be a woman again, because I love being a
Everything.
freaking woman.
No, for real,
Like
for
I
real.
don't care. Like I do care, but like the amount of like women's death by the hands of men or whatever, I'm like, I love being a woman. Because imagine just being hated just because you were born with a penis. That's it. That's the only requirement. And I'm like, at least everything that I would be hated for, I look good as a black woman. If I'm gonna be hated as a woman, at least I look good as a woman.
Everything.
If I am gonna be hated as a black woman, at least I look good as a black woman. No, like, I love being a freaking woman. I'm like, yeah, we go through a lot every month. When I do get my period, I'll be like, damn you, Eve.
No,
But I'm
for
like,
real.
honestly though, I would love to be a woman any day of the week before I ever want to be a guy. And I'm like, it's not even that we have it like easier. I don't know. I feel like the woman experience is just so vast. And like we have so much freedom to just be women. Whereas like there's so much stipulations on men. I feel like
And stuff.
yeah, I got a stuffy nose. But I'm like, there's so many stipulations and requirements to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I could just be a woman. Like if I wanted to, I could just wear a dress. If I wanted to, I could be a tomboy. If I wanted to, I could be a hobo. If I wanted to, I could stay home naked. And I do sometimes.
Completely rest.
But I'm like, but I'm like, as a woman, you have a lot of freedom to explore all of the spectrum of womanhood. Whereas a man, you're told by society and probably your upbringing that this is your field of exploration right here. Don't. And I'm like, if you wanted to, I could be masculine. If I wanted to, I could be feminine. It's just depending on how the day goes.
No, for real.
And it can fluctuate either way throughout the day. That literally is though. Like at one point of the day, I'm sitting there. I mean, it's Christian hip hop, but I'm like going hard on Christian hip hop, and then like the next day, it's just like Jesus, I love you, Jesus. I'm not saying that you can't worship like that as a guy. I'm just saying there's a lot more. I don't know, not necessarily condemnation, but shame or awkwardness around that kind of worship for guys. My periods. Periods are periods. Periods are great. I understand that there's a lot of women that go through a lot of pain
Oh
when it comes to their
yeah.
periods, and we can pray for them because they are taking the brunt of womanhood like a freaking champ. Okay, like a freaking champ. But I'm like, it's great to have that superpower of like when my body doesn't create life, it just automatically knows we're just gonna go ahead and get rid of that,
Right.
and then it just starts all over. It's just a magical cycle, a magical traumatic cycle.
No, for real. Mm-mm.
I love being a woman. How about you? She's like, yes, yeah, I do. I know. I talk a lot. That's fine. With that, we're gonna end. It's because it's unleashed. That's a great pose.
I'm done.